Welcome back. All right, so again on the hockey set, it's in between the second and third period between Florida and Edmonton, and might as well talk about this now. So some changes in the standings since the last time we took a look at them. One thing is we've got a couple of teams that have already qualified, or well, we got two teams that have qualified. So round of 16, France qualifies, Brazil qualifies, Portugal qualifies. Two wins, they're in the round of 16. The eliminated now includes Canada. I don't think anybody else is technically eliminated, although there are some hanging on by a very thin thread. So tomorrow's games, we've got Ecuador versus Senegal. This could be a huge one for either country. Second spot on the line there, or potentially first if Qatar could do the impossible and knock off Netherlands. Of course, it's been a rough tournament for Qatar. The odds of them knocking off Holland, I don't think are very good. For Netherlands, of course, they win that. They should also win the group. Keep in mind that goal differential does make a difference. That's why you'll see if a team's up by 3 or 4, they'll still keep going for more goals. Wales versus England. This is a big one for Wales. I don't know how disheartened they're going to be, but if Wales could go out and put a beating on, like if they could beat England 2-1, or even just a draw, I think would make people happy. But yeah, for England, it looks like they should win that group. You've got Iran in against the U.S. Of course, there's some issues between those two countries. I do like the U.S.'s chances against Iran, but they need to have that killer instinct. They need to have the ability to get that goal to win the game, which to this point has been a problem. Then on Wednesday, you've got Australia versus Denmark. Australia is actually in a position where they can make it. They control their own destiny. They win this game, they're in the final, the round of 16. So that would be a pretty sweet setup for them, right? Then you got Tunisia against France. I like France's chances of ending up running the table in the group. I do. I think France is going to do that. And then we get into the round of 16 where things can get really, really messy. Saudi Arabia versus Mexico could be a fun one because Mexico right now sits at the bottom of the group. They have to win. A draw does them no good. For Saudi Arabia, a draw could be exactly what they need, right? So for Saudi Arabia, they're going to be going for the win against Mexico. But again, Mexico playing for some pride, and we'll see. There's the possibility that this group is kind of bunched up when all the games are done. Poland against Argentina should be excellent. Argentina bounced back from an underperformance in the first game. If they can win that game over Poland, they likely win the group. Again, goal differential being as it is and everything. But yeah, so for Argentina, they've turned things around. But for Poland, yeah, I mean, they're right there, 4 points, right? If they can get a draw, then they're in the round of 16. Then on Thursday, you got Croatia and Belgium. That should be fun. So there was a lot of talk about, Canada. Oh, they poked the bear with Croatia. And, you talk bad about Croatia. That's what Croatia's a very good country with soccer. I was not surprised that they beat the Canadians. I was kind of surprised a little bit at trash talk. But, I mean, hey, it's sport. It's kind of the name of and especially on a world stage, a little bit of trash talk doesn't necessarily hurt. It might have meant Croatia scored an extra goal, but like I said, goal differential is huge in this. So you see a weakness, you just keep, pummeling away. For Canada to salvage any points, they have to beat Morocco on Thursday or at least get a draw. I don't know that happens. Morocco, of course, is tied with Croatia. They know how dangerous Belgium is. If they can get the win there, they will get themselves likely a spot in the round of 16. You think about that for a second. That would be 7 points. Yeah, that'd be a spot in the round of 16. There you go. So Canada's not going to have it easy in the last game either. Like I said, before this tournament started, it was going to be very difficult for Canada to get any result. This is a learning experience, and learning experiences are painful. You've never heard somebody say to a kid, hey, this is a learning experience. The kid's like, I love learning experiences. It's not a thing. Then we get into Japan versus Spain, which is going to be an interesting one because, of course, Japan currently sits second in that group. And then you got Costa Rica against Germany. Yeah, Costa Rica can knock Germany right out of this, even though Germany with 1 point, they really needed 2 against Spain. They got 1, which is fine. But now they've got to beat Costa Rica and hope that Spain beats Japan. Japan's shown they're pretty game in these things. Like Uh, they're kind of a fun side. They work hard and all that. So yeah, Germany could very well end up not in the round of 16, which would be a bit of a shocker. On Friday, we got South Korea against Portugal. Portugal, of course, is already clinched, but they're going to want to run the table in their group. I don't like South Korea's chances in that one. Ronaldo's playing not bad. Ghana versus Uruguay should be interesting because Uruguay has underperformed through their first two games. I don't think they're overly happy with the results so far. We'll see if they get a win over Ghana and end up jumping into a top round of 16 spot. Especially, if Portugal wins that one, goes to 9 points. If Uruguay beats Ghana, they would get the 4 points, Ghana at 3, and then they get in. So we'll see. Cameroon versus Brazil. I love Cameroon, but they're not going to beat Brazil. It's not going to happen. As much as I love upsets when they take place in the world stage, I can't see it. And then you got Serbia and Switzerland to round out the group stage, and that could very well determine who ends up being with Brazil in the round of 16. I'm liking Switzerland's chances a little more than Serbia. However, we'll see how things turn out there. It's going to be a fascinating finish up. And then, I'll definitely do a round of 16 look at things. And I will try to watch as much of the round of 16 as possible. It's just at the time that these games start, which is 2 a.m., 5 a.m. my time, well, half of those games are done before I even wake up. So for people in Europe, yeah, I know that's how guys are with, I do all the hockey stuff on my main channel. And I get it. Like, I totally understand why they get frustrated with, they don't get to see the games. And of course, if you're from Finland, Sweden, Germans too, you don't get to see these guys that come over and play in the NHL very often because it's on right in the middle of the night for you guys, or maybe early in the morning if you get up early enough, which this tournament's had going for it as well. So I will see what I can in between now and Friday. The NHL schedule's not as crazy this week as it was last week. They basically have 2 weeks where it's absolutely bonkers, and outside of that, it's not that bad. So I should be able to find some time. I've been able to see some of the games, not an entire 90 minutes, but I've been able to see some of it. I did catch some of the game between Germany and Spain. And, I mean, yeah, again, the Germans salvage a point, but they really needed 3 there. So let me know your thoughts. Who have you been most impressed with in this tournament? Who have you been least impressed with in this tournament? Who do you think right now is going to be? I mean, I'm rooting for the teams that don't win. So I'm going to root for Netherlands / Holland and Portugal. Those are 2 countries that I absolutely would like to see get it done. That being said, I do like France's chance and England. I mean, come on, England, right? So we'll see when we get to the round of 16 how many teams that I'm rooting for end up in that round of 16. I still think Argentina ends up in the round of 16. I can't see them not being there. If they don't make it there, that's going to be very disappointing for Argentina and the Argentinian soccer. One thing with this is for the countries that have all that pressure, you can see huge changes when they fail at the World Cup. But one thing with the World Cup that's fascinating is it's only 3 games. That's it. You prepare for 4 years for 3 games, and if you have an off week, hey, you're done. And so that's where this tournament is brutal, and that's part of the reason I like it so much, because it is close. There's not a ton of scoring in it. It's a very smart, very well played tournament. And then you get to the round of 16 and beyond, and craziness happens from there. So let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And hey, thank you guys so much for all your support. I'll talk to you again soon.